Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
It's a Wednesday. No hot seat, though. No hot seat.
Frosty.
Next week, Eduardo Perez, or so he says. I don't know. We're going to have to follow up on Eduardo Perez next week. But no hot seat today. That's on us. That's on us. We'll figure it out. You don't think so? We just fucking said Eduardo Perez next week.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to share in the responsibility of not having a guest this Wednesday. That's all. That was it.
Well, I mean, I've booked everyone so far, so I don't know. I don't know if
we'll continue.
Yeah. Okay. Dallas just, it's got so many friends. It's just weird that no one wants to talk to him on a live microphone.
We had him.
No, it's fine. Next week we can do that. But first, the MLB season's in full swing and Underdog Fantasy wants to make it a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats, strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. Make entries of all baseball or mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. Jayhay, did those promos that we had yesterday, Justin Steele higher on 4.5 strikeouts and Dylan Cease was higher 4.5 strikeouts, did those hit?
We also had Verlander too at 3.5. So the group as a whole went 1 for 3.
Whoa, who did hit, I guess?
Justin Steele racked up 6 Ks yesterday.
Wow, not Dylan Cease.
No, Cease had a rough start against the Redbirds yesterday. Only 4 strikeouts in 4 1/3, so he came so close. But no go, and Verlander only had 3, so he did not hit.
Dylan Cease had made 25 starts this year and only once didn't strike out at least 5 batters.
Yeah, it's a tough break.
Oh,
hang with him. Justin Steele, though, powering my fantasy club, continuing to power my fantasy club. Appreciate the effort.
Yeah, both of the instances have now come in since the start of August for Cease. But in fairness, I believe the only other instance was when he lasted 1 inning. And left due to forget what the injury was, but he left for some reason. Yeah, brutal.
That's gross. Anyways, make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. Justin Havens has taken over doing the rundown for these programs, but I still keep my ear to the street. I still want to make sure that we're covering the topics that people want, that people are demanding that we get our takes on. This morning, I wake up and there is just a war going on in the Twitter streets that Dallas was not privy to. Dallas didn't even know where he was this morning. I was like, Dallas, what city are you in? He took him a good 6 Mississippis before he hit me with the Cincinnati. And he's been there since Monday. Today's Wednesday.
It happens.
I saw that there's a triple threat match going on between Braves fans, Yankees fans, and Dodgers fans. So what we have here is, I think last year, Ronald Acuña Jr. went 40-70. And the reaction to that outside of Atlanta, not overwhelmingly, but there was reaction to it saying, well, it's the bigger bases. Whoop-de-doo. 70 stolen bases, whoop-de-doo. Now this year, Shohei Ohtani goes 40-40, fastest to ever do it, and has a chance to go 50-50. And now everyone is freaking out because it's Shohei that can go 50-50. Then you've got Yankee fans. I don't know. I mean, they've just inserted themselves here, and I feel like it doesn't necessarily belong. Now you got Yankee fans who are like, oh, you guys didn't care about Acuña last year, but now because it's Shohei, now everyone's freaking out about it. What about the season that Aaron Judge is having? This one I feel like is the most, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can debate it, but which season is more impressive? Because every fan base is staking their claim. Yankee fans that Judge is having the most impressive season out of the 3. Braves fans that Ronnie's 40-70 season last year is the most impressive. and Dodger fans, like, first of all, Shohei hasn't even accomplished 50-50 yet. But if he did, let's just assume that he does get to 50-50. Which of those 3 seasons would be more impressive? I don't even, like, are we assuming, like, for the sake of argument, since we're just giving Shohei 50-50, do we want to give Aaron Judge 63?
Well, that's exactly where I was going to go, is if you are going to start just assuming certain statistical levels, you got to do that across the board.
Let's do 63 for Judge.
And so from there, like, my initial reaction is
that's an average Sammy Sosa season in the fucking late 90s, early 2000s. So it is.
What, homer-wise?
Yeah.
Power-wise?
Homer-wise.
My thing is, we have 2 seasons with Ronnie and Shohei that have enough of a different type of production that I think those separate themselves, not as better, but just, I think, different. And what's interesting is it almost feels like you're just 4 bases away. If you're Aaron Judge, you're 4 stolen bases away during his incredible season to really put a nice round number out there that would catch your eye. The 62 and 20? Like, does that do anything for anybody?
No.
I don't know.
Once you're in like the 60 plus, I don't give a fuck about stolen bases. Like, yeah, it's nice, whatever, acknowledge it, but like, it doesn't put you in any type of crazy class for me.
But I think that's why the back and forth is occurring between Braves and Dodgers fans specifically, is because Braves fans are going, bro, 43 and 70. 70. It's not 60 and it's not 55. It's 70 stolen bases. And you're like, okay, I get it. And then Shohei's going, well, if we're gonna talk about the power and speed and the total number there, well, then how about the homers? Like 50 more or 10 plus homers? So we're not 50 homers, 50 bags. So, okay, we'll take 10 less bags away from the 70 mark or so, 10, 15, because you could end up with over 50.
40-70, it's lopsided. 50-50 is round. It's like, ooh,
well, yeah,
50,
that's the thing, is it's right. Like, you're kind of
prettier.
You're meeting in the middle. It's like the love child of the 2 seasons. But then you have what Aaron Judge is doing, which, and this is where it gets a little
having Barry Bonds'
dicey.
4th best season. Yeah.
He's technically producing more than both of those guys, right? But now I think, what sort of production really has a bigger or a greater impact on his team? And the difference is, there's, I think, a certain level of production that is carrying a team, which is Aaron Judge. And then there's production that filters out and helps other guys in a different way. Where if I'm on base and I'm in scoring position, that helps me, but somebody has to drive me in. And if I'm Aaron Judge and I'm the one driving them in, then I'm the guy who's sort of carrying this team. But if I'm a guy who's also driving those guys in, and I'm also somebody who's putting myself in position for the guy behind me to drive me in, then that feels like there's a trickle-down effect of sorts that might not be happening with Aaron Judge to an extent.
I have a take.
What is it?
I feel like people are going to be upset about this take, but I still have it. I think the 40-40, 50-50 thing is stupid. I think that if I were playing Major League Baseball, that I would want 50-50 to be recognized as 50 homers, 50 doubles. Like, I get that you're fast and you're stealing bases, but what does stealing bases have to do with power and hitting the baseball? It's kind of just like we took, like, you know, stealing bases is cool, hitting home runs is cool, but like, why do they belong together? They don't. It's like home runs and doubles to me belong together more. So if I hit 50 homers and 50 doubles in the same season, I would be like, I set out to do something this year at the plate, like hitting the ball over the fence or in the gaps, and I accomplished that. And that's really fucking hard. How quick do you think you could look up, Jayhay, how many players have gone 50-50 with 50 home runs and 50 doubles? Like, what's that class look like?
I believe the very last person to do that is my boy, loosely speaking, the one and only Albert Bell. He's the only player to ever do that in 1995.
Ever.
Ever.
There you go.
He almost did it fucking twice, which is crazy.
I feel like 40 home runs, 40 doubles is probably a much larger class.
Stand by.
Yeah, 40 for doubles and home runs. I feel like we're not talking about like an upper pantheon of there's only 6 players in history to ever do that. 40, I feel like
I'm going to guess there's dozens. That has happened 38 total times.
Yeah. So it's less impressive, but like more connected.
We're talking about 2 different players once we start to have that conversation
I agree.
about speed. That's the whole, and that right there is what's the separator. That's the separator. Is typically when you go through history, the guy who was your run producer was not the guy who was stealing bags. That's not the case. If you're going to hit 40 homers, you're not stealing 40 bags. And we know that to the point where it's only happened how many times? 38 times
38
in the history of our game.
Mm-hmm.
So 38 times in the history of our game has somebody hit 40 homers and stole 40 bases.
No. 40 doubles.
That was 40 doubles and
40 doubles. Sorry, 40 doubles. I apologize. So that is how rare even that power combination is. When we talk about all the games we've played in the history of baseball and 38 times, 40 doubles, 40 pumps, I know it's a bigger number than the 50-50 club,
but it's still pretty rare.
Ish.
Like how many people are in the 500 home run club? More than 38?
Hold on. But now we know how many people are in the 40-40 club, 40 homer, 40 stolen base club. So when you look at those types of athletes and who those players are, how many of those guys, like I said, are now providing opportunity for other players in their team that Albert Bell maybe wasn't? But again, Albert Bell's hitting the double and clearing those guys off the bases. Albert Bell's hitting the homer and providing runs in that fashion. So it's just a different level of impact. And that's why I say when we start talking about 40, 50 bags, this isn't a negligible 15 stolen bases. This is a massive amount of run scoring opportunity for other guys.
Yeah. There's 28 players in the 500 home run club. See, like I think the elite of the elite is 500 homers, 3,000 hits. That's 7 guys. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Eddie Murray, Rafael Palmeiro, Albert Pujols, A-Rod, and Miguel Cabrera.
But we're talking 2 different things now at this point, right? We're talking. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'm just talking about the rarity. Like I'm putting in context, like, 38 people have done it. It's like, well, only 28 people have hit 500 home runs. It's like we look at that as a rare thing.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Please.
I was just going to say, sticking on the speed, like I think this conversation started on the speed power combination or the speed power conversation. So when we start to get into the 500 homers and the 3,000 hits, like that has very limited to do with the athleticism. Like, okay, we want to talk about how many fucking infield knocks out of the 3,000, but it's speed, power. We just don't see those dudes. That's why the speed power combo rating, I think, is eye popping when people take a look at that and they realize who these dudes are.
So then, all right, if we're going to talk about how impressive the speed power combo is and whose season is more impressive between Ronnie's 40-70, Shohei's potential 50-50, and Aaron Judge's 63 home runs, let's call it. Yeah, 60-20. How about Jarren Duran becoming the first player in Major League history, Dallas, 1 of 1 this class, and he's the one, the 10, 20, 30, 40 club, which is the first player in MLB history to record at least 10 triples, 20 home runs, 30 stolen bases, and 40 doubles. No player in Major League Baseball history has done that besides Jarren Duran this year.
So, all right, you guys have each sort of had your say about which is the most impressive thing here, kind of. I want to get in here because Jarren Duran offers me an opportunity. These 3 of these things in my head are very much alike in terms of, like, to some extent, why they're being celebrated, and one is not. And the one that's not, to me, is the easy answer for which is the most impressive to me. And that's Aaron Judge's 2024 season. That to me is the most impressive of these. If we're calling it 4, I don't care, of all of the seasons that are happening this season. Because like, to me, it comes down to, this is reductive for sure, but it's like, how many stolen bases do you need to overcome or equal the value of a home run? And it is many, many stolen bases. And so, like, I know that in this hypothetical world, we're only giving Aaron Judge 13 more home runs than Shohei Ohtani on the season, and he's got all those extra stolen bases, and it's so cool. But like, if we're talking about the overall season, Aaron Judge is delivering an on-base percentage that these other guys can't touch, Acuña and Aaron Judge. Like, if we're just talking about like which accomplishment is the most sexy, or like the one that like in my head I'm thinking, wow, that might be the most fun to watch, maybe it's Ohtani's 50-50. But like, to me, Aaron Judge is having a season that is kind of fundamentally different than the seasons that any of these other guys are having, which are MVP caliber seasons, or in some cases MVP winning seasons. Aaron Judge's is a season that may end up belonging in like the pantheon of greatest seasons that we have ever seen or will ever see in Major League Baseball. I don't think you can say that about Acuña's 40-70, even though he was the founding member.
No, Jayhay, I agree. And the reason that I look at, you just can't dismiss what Aaron Judge is doing offensively from top to bottom. And if the one area of pushback is the fact that he's not stealing 10 bags, 20, if that's your pushback, you got to miss me with all of it. And this is coming from a dude who absolutely loves what Showtime is doing.
For sure.
The reason that those 2 seasons between Ohtani and Acuña are so eye-popping, outside of the fact that the numbers look the way they do, we just haven't had athletes do these things in a while. And now we've got a couple guys doing stuff like this, right? We've got Bobby Witt Jr. on the outside of this kind of conversation. Is he going to hit 50? Probably not. Could he steal 50? Probably. And that is something that I think is new, fresh, exciting for baseball fans who are coming from an era where this was not the case, where an era where what Aaron Judge is doing right now, there were more guys, I don't want to say close to what Aaron Judge is doing, but as far as the power output, on average, there were more guys that were at the base level of what he is doing in that class, as opposed to what we're seeing from the other 2 guys. Like the other 2 guys, these seasons were not happening at all, the power and the speed. But Aaron Judge and what he was doing is something that people may have saw glimpses of for like 2-week stretches of their favorite player. Well, this shit's happening for years consecutively. Like this is a different animal right now, completely different. So I think just not having the experience of watching, because let me ask you guys this, purely just the numbers. All right. This has nothing to do with the value of the production. You look at these numbers, and I've been playing this game a lot with folks. What season would you rather watch unfold day in and day out? Like the excitement of watching
Judge.
The baseball. You would rather watch Judge?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah.
Because I would rather watch a guy who is like Judge-esque in terms of power threat, and then this dude's also super athletic, like stealing bases, moving around. I like that excitement aspect of the game. I'm not taking anything away from the athleticism of Judge. He's just not the base runner.
Watching it though, like, I don't really care about stolen bases unless it's like the playoffs and it's a big stolen base. Like, a stolen base doesn't really do much for me. Like, I don't play like a year-long fantasy. Like, I'll do like daily fantasy. I won't do like a league where I have to sit down and do it for like stolen bases. To me, it's like, what benefit is that bringing to my life? I would rather, and I'm not saying that Shohei isn't this guy. Like, Shohei obviously has a ton of presence, and I think if he were pitching, it's a little bit different because you're factoring in if he's going 50-50 with a 3 ERA and 200 strikeouts, and it's like, all right,
we're not having
debate's
the conversation.
over. Yeah, it's not a conversation. But because he's just a hitter, what does it more for me? Is it 50 home runs, or is it like it's 60 home runs? Because I'm just like, taking stolen bases out of the equation. Like I don't care that much about stolen bases.
And I think that's my perspective is I know how important and I know what changes. And I mean, the numbers tell us in our game, statistics change, rates change from pitch to pitch. Every pitch you throw, numbers, expected rates, all those numbers differ. So when you start to put a guy on second base, now that guy goes from second to third base, like the complexion of the entire game changes. So I'm factoring the impact of those stolen bases in more so than just the number, but like what is going to happen now? What happens now? How the defense starts to change. And that's why I think I weight it as much as I do, because I know a guy standing on second base and jockeying around affects defensive positioning, which could create holes, blah, 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 blah. It's boring, but it's the life I've lived as the player. And that's where my focus goes, is the dude that can end the game is also the threat on the bases that I don't want to have there. And watching a full season of that go back and forth, that excites me.
It's fair. So what are we landing on? Is it unanimous judge?
I think it's unanimous judge in terms of what's more impressive right now. I think it's just hard to dismiss what has allowed the aggression on the base path to take place. Like you can't just do away with the minimal looks and like that matters.
I feel weird picking Judge though, just because like I see the argument of the rarity of 50-50 and 40-70 being in the class of its own. And then it's like, well, we've seen 63 home runs before. Like we've seen that.
Then does it help your comfort level if I go back to a stat that I used already, which is that no right-handed hitter has put up an OPS plus of what he's done since Ross Barnes in the 1800s?
Yes. So that's the answer, is when we're separating the three, 40-70 class of its own, 50-50. Have we seen 50-50? No, that would be the first. That would be the first ever 50-50, the first ever 40-70. And then it's when we start to talk about putting a number on it, 63 home runs for Aaron Judge, it's that not all 63 home run seasons are created equal. It is the quality of that 63 home run season. So yeah, I think ultimately what it boils down to is entertainment value, historical perspective, and the weight of the quality of the season itself.
You did this, you made a Sammy Sosa comment early on, and I have to. I'm going to go back to the 19. So not even the year he hit 63. Let's give him the year he hit 66 in 1998. Okay. His OPS that season was 1.024. So point of fact, it was closer to Ohtani's OPS this season than it is Aaron Judge's OPS this season. And his OPS plus, which accounts for run scoring environment of the era, was 160. Judge's is 229.
Yeah.
Ronnie's last season was 171. 171. So Ronald Acuña Jr.'s season by OPS within the context of his era last year when he hit 41 homers was in some ways more impressive than Sammy Sosa's performance when he hit 66 home runs. Now, to be totally fair to Sammy, in 2001, when he hit 64 homers, his OPS was 1.174 and his OPS plus was 203. That was the best season of Sosa's career by far, even though it was not his career high in home runs. So Sosa absolutely had a Pantheon level season, but it's still not what Judge did.
It pales. No, yeah, it pales.
And again, that's impacted by what the rest of the league is doing. So you could sit there and say, well, that's not fair because the rest of the league was on steroids. And it's like, well, so was he.
Yeah, I don't think that argument going down that path is going to help you with Sammy Sosa.
No,
yeah.
Sure isn't.
No,
sure isn't. Wow. I did not go into that because I only sprung this on the guys maybe 10 minutes before we went on the air. And I didn't do any I just wanted to have a talk it out loud with the boys conversation and see where it was that we landed. And let me tell you, I was not expecting to land on Aaron Judge. I wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm separating the two. Which season do I want to watch unfold? And what season would excite me more? What would bring me more pleasure optically, aesthetically, is watching a guy hit 50 homers, steal 50 bags, do what he's doing. I mean, just to kind of go over here, I just pulled the seasons up, comparatively speaking, for Ronnie's 23, Judge's season this year, and Shohei's season this year. WAR across the board. Shohei 6.6, obviously just a DH. Ronnie's was 8.2. Judge this year sitting at 9.7 with a little over a month left in the season. Homers 41 across the board. Judge 51 as he sits right now, still counting. 122 RBI for Judge, the 465 OBP, the 732 slug, the 1197 OPS, and the 229 OPS plus, all leaders in the clubhouse compared to the two seasons of the other fellas. So while the production screams that he's the clear-cut winner, as far as baseball aesthetics go, like there's a reason we like the triple. There's a reason we like the inside the park homer. Not as cool as a 700-foot blast, but fuck, they get you going. They get you excited. Gets me excited. Gets me aroused. I'm here.
I think Dallas is just trying to beat the Shohei Bobo allegations right now. Like he's like, yeah, sure. It's killing you inside that you're not picking Shohei.
It is. It is.
I know it.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying about watching him do what he's doing right now, is because I genuinely do. I like watching that. I like watching a much more athletic game of baseball being played than I do just pelting baseball.
Sorry, I know we're wrapping this up to go on to something else. I hear you on that. I will say, I feel like Judge is getting pegged as some sort of unathletic, like, Maguire
center
type
fielder.
He's not
Chris Davis.
He's a center. Yeah, he's a center fielder.
I know we all know this. He's not that guy. I don't want people listening to think we think that I'm fully convinced that if Aaron Judge wanted 20, 25 stolen bases, he could get you 25 stolen bases. I just don't think that's something the Yankees are prioritizing. I don't think it's something he's prioritizing. And I think that's ultimately correct for the initial point that I made, because when he fucking hits that ball over the fence, that's worth more stolen bases than he could possibly provide them on any sort of regularity. So my answer is fully Judge. I think the other two are awesome and would be amazing to watch. I remember growing up watching like Hanley Ramirez and stuff, and Grady Sizemore, and being awed when, I went back and looked when they put up like their in Hanley's case 30-30, or I think Hanley had a 30-50 one year. Mm-hmm. I think Grady topped out at more like 25-35 or something like that. But I was like, wow, look at those specimens, look at those guys go. And then you look at what Ohtani and Acuña are doing as not only more sexier accomplishments, but also as just demonstrably superior players overall to what Hanley and Grady were, even in their primes. It's such an awesome time to be a fan. I know that's cliche, but this conversation is just proof positive of that entire era that we're living in and how cool it is from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah. Did you see what Logan Paul did to Aaron Judge? It's very.
I sure didn't.
So Aaron Judge is a prime.
Oh yes,
athlete.
Oh,
and I don't know if this was real or not. I'm not sure.
No chance they're letting Judge put himself out there like that. Yeah.
So they went up to Judge and they were like, man, that was an awesome season. When you hit that 62 home runs, did you ever get the ball back? And he was like, nah, man, I never got it back. And he's like, well, we traced the ball to an auction. We bid on it $1.5 million and we got the ball back for you. And then they gave him the ball and he was like, no way you did this. This is so cool. And he runs over to his wife. He's like, babe, check it out. And they're like, that's not the real ball. I don't know if it was real, but if it was, the acting was top notch. So I don't know if they actually pranked him. And if it was a real prank, that's so fucking mean, because you could tell like how much it meant to him to get that ball back.
That is fucked up.
Plus,
especially
he can just get
right after his Paw Patrol appearance.
Yeah.
You're doing Judge like that? Come on.
Yeah. I don't know if it was real. I mean, it was fucking mean if it was. I don't like that. Give Judgy his ball back for fuck's sake.
It's funny.
It's messed up. Anyways, the Kansas City Royals have caught the Cleveland Guardians, Jayhay. You're caught. Right now, entering play today.
Hold on, that's a conversation I want to get to. Yes. I'm not dodging it in any sort of way.
Seems like you might be, but
I do want to make sure our listeners sign up with the code Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jared. All right, lay it on me, man.
The Kansas City Royals have won 7 of 10, while your Cleveland Guardians have lost 7 of 10.
Yeah,
both teams are going to the playoffs. I don't think you have to worry about that. But both teams enter play today with a record of 75 and 58. What was the largest lead that Cleveland had this year in the division?
I don't know.
I can find that out.
Didn't look at it. Don't care.
10 games. I mean, I'll tell you right now, the Royals were 10 games out June 25th.
Oh, I hope I'm not fucking gearing up for an "I told you so" from one of you two about the Royals coming back to win the division.
No.
Because
their largest lead was 9 games on June 25th. They were 9 games up. 9. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, from the Guardians' perspective, I think, not to keep referencing the Chris Rose interview, weeks after it happened, but I do think it was, eye-opening and incisive. 2 things that he talked about are coming true here. A, the Cleveland fan looking around the corner and wondering what's going to go wrong. Well, the division lead has collapsed. It's now fully a 3-team race, given that Kansas City has clearly thrust themselves into the lead here, if you factor in the tiebreaker. So that part is definitely happening. The existential crisis part, to some degree. I know you said they're all making or those 2 teams are making the postseason.
We're here.
I hear you on that. But the second part is that whatever optimism I had about, the offense being more interesting or more potentially dynamic than it's been in seasons past, where I felt like it was truly 1 or 2 guys propping it up. I just don't know whether that's ever really going to happen this year. And to me, it just looks like an increasing, you can tell me what the regular season overall stats are for the offense, and how it's, relatively impressive compared to previous seasons. I know what the second half offensive numbers look like. And to me, unfortunately, not to do this whole small sample size thing, I just have this eerie feeling that that's much closer to what this offense actually is. And more to the point, the postseason is the rub for the Guardians here. So, I don't give a fuck if they make the wild card game. They grind back, Kansas City wins the division, and they still make a wild card game. And, it's a hard fought wild card series loss. That to me is a fucking failure. A, because they bought pretty heavy at the deadline. B, because that's just the same song and dance that this team isn't good enough. And what I see in the offense is an offense that's going to get diced up by postseason focus, postseason matchups, postseason relief pitcher usage, that sort of stuff. I just don't see. To me, it's unfortunately it's reducing itself to Jose Ramirez and not enough help all over again. I saw what I saw when I went to the Cleveland game at Yankee Stadium, and that's 1 game. But that game had the feeling. I know they went on to win, but even that game had the feeling of if Jose doesn't deliver, who the fuck is going to deliver? And I still have that question because to me, everybody else can be pitched to.
You know what the worst part is about the Guardians blowing this 9-game lead? They can't even play no one expected us to be in first anyway card,
right? Because
they were caught by the team that lost 106 games last year. If it were the Twins, then you could be like, well, fuck, man, like hell of a run to this point. Like it sucks that we blew a 9-game lead, but like everyone had the Twins winning the division this year and water found its level. It's like, well, no, no one had no one here, I don't think, besides Jayhay maybe, didn't have the Guardians winning the division this season. But certainly no one had the Kansas City Royals being as good as they've been. Like you could certainly make the case that the Kansas City Royals actually are the best team in the Central this year.
So if you woke up today and you told a Guardians fan, hey, they're 78-54 or whatever the record is, I just had it up and lost it. 75-58, same record as the Royals, obviously. 564 winning percentage. That would be a win. You'd be like, 2024 Guardians are fucking 17 games over 500. Let's do this. The reality is that, to your point, like you can't play the underdog card anymore. And just to do a little second on the Royals, like obviously Bobby Witt, we know Sal Perez, and we talked about Vinny P heating up a couple of podcasts ago. I just think this team overall deserves some level of credit because unlike a lot of teams in Major League Baseball, particularly in that middle tier of supposed teams who weren't maybe abjectly terrible, but also weren't considered World Series contenders, like this team spent money and added veteran players who are of above average or even average quality, which in some cases really helps.
Jayhay. People were like, why the fuck are the Royals spending $100 million this winter? Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, and you could nitpick. Some of them have worked, some of them haven't. Seth Lugo obviously being overall a huge success, even if he hasn't played particularly well lately. But just that mentality, like they're probably not in the position that they are in today if they hadn't made those additions overall and spent that money overall. So in an era where I'm very quick to criticize a team if they don't do that, I think the Royals, their ascension, obviously is centered on their superstar, but that deserves calling out too.
Their starting staff deserves credit. Brady Singer deserves a ton of credit because Brady Singer is taking the steps forward that you wanted Brady Singer to take. And this is what's happening right now. What happens when our young guys actually start to click? What happens when they step up and start to perform? Well, Brady Singer is putting together a hell of a season. Cole Reagan's doing the same. And when you have a couple guys step up like that, along with a Seth Lugo, who was arguably a Cy Young contender and maybe still even in the conversation, you start to get stuff like that, you start to roll. You start to produce, as well as a resurgent season from Salvador Perez, who's on his way to the Hall of Fame. Jayhay, shut your mouth. And you've got Bobby Witt Jr., who's doing what, like, this is how this happens. So when people sit back and they're wondering, well, how does a team that lost 100 plus games last year turn it around to this extent? Well, you have guys playing important roles, stepping up and doing what you expected them to do. So I know there's going to be a ton of credit, and justifiably so, given to what Sal and what Witter have been able to do. You got to keep the team off the scoreboard. And I think Brady Singer is at the top of the list of conversations when it comes to guys who have given you what you hoped they were coming to the table with this season.
By second half OPS, the offense ranks as the fourth best in Major League Baseball behind the D-backs, Yankees, and Red Sox. And you could use a bunch of other different stats, and it tells you basically the same story. So good call out on the rotation, but like I feel like we have this conception of the Royals, and it's deserved that it's usually light on offense, right? Like it took what forever. Jorge Soler, right, was the one who set the franchise home run mark. He was the first to ever hit 40, I believe.
40. Yep.
And so just I don't know. I think there's this offense. I know Witt gets his attention and Sal gets his attention, but I just think the supporting cast overall is better for the Royals than A, anticipated, and B, has been in a long time. It's an interesting team. I think Jared's right to his initial point that you could easily make the case that this just is the best team in the AL Central, regardless of how we've spent, the first 80% of the season treating the division.
Most interesting division race in baseball, in your eyes, Jayhay?
No.
Wow. Okay. Oh. Well, your name's not Jayhay, but
certainly
you're
not.
going to say no to.
I mean, I think
it's the race with two teams that are tied. I mean, you've got the Yankees and the Orioles separated by a game. You've got the NL West as a legit 3-team race with the D-backs and Padres.
That's your
like
race.
They're just interlocked. They're 3 games, but they're 3 games back. They're not yet like within striking distance. The Royals and Guards are tied, same record.
I'm willing to concede that it's possible that the NL West becomes more interesting because I think the stakes for the Dodgers are higher than they are for the Guardians or any team in the AL Central that could be in a position to win the division. So that would be more dramatic in and of itself if one of these teams caught and passed the Dodgers, as we've talked about. But for the question right now, I mean, it's hard to argue, man, because I think a lot of people would take the Twins on talent as maybe the best team in the division. They were certainly the preseason favorite. I know they're not healthy at the moment, and Bailey Ober just got rocked, which is a little unusual, but they're still only 2.5 games out, and that's closer than any of the NL West teams are currently to the Dodgers. So you have 3 teams clustered, to your point, that are closer. To me, it's obviously yes, but with room for that to change.
Dallas, you're going NL West?
Yeah, for me, that's
West
the obvious
Coast
question.
bias, obvious, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. You said flyover country? Is that that's crazy, dude.
Mm.
How disrespectful.
That's where the battle is. You had a team that you have handed the division to, and you've got 2 teams that have said, no, I don't, that's not actually going to go that way. We're going to have something to say about that. With no Corbin Carroll and the Diamondbacks playing the way they were a month and a half ago, to think that they're in this spot right now and getting better, that's got to get you perked up. What Jurgensen has been able to do, powering his club all season long, and now sort of getting a little help from old Jackson. I mean, that division right there, just because of all the shit going back and forth, like that for me is that's where I'm at.
Yeah. You know where else we should be at? Manscaped.
Tell me.
Yeah. Today, the leaders in male grooming at Manscaped are helping us spice up the hair care regimen on your head with something fresh. And no, it's not a new razor or a ball deodorant. Get ready for the new game-changing scalp buffer by Manscaped. Let's break down why you need to add this hair care routine. First things first, check out these thick silicone bristles. They're 100% antibacterial. No more germs hitting a ride on your head. The bristles gently exfoliate your scalp, and the product helps reduce flaking caused by dry skin and buildup. And you know Dallas is flaking all the time. That is one flaky dude. One of the coolest features is
we
that
used to call him old flaky melon in high school.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Old snowflake Dallas. That's what we used to call him. It's designed to stimulate blood flow to your hair follicles. Increased blood flow equals healthier hair. The bristles enhance shampoo penetration for more foam and less product use. It's not just about feeling good. A better lather means better cleaning power. That means your shampoo lasts longer, so you can save that extra cash for more important things like a new video game or sports tickets. You can also pair it with a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner from Manscaped for the ultimate hair care routine. These products are designed to work together, giving your hair the most nourishment and strength that it needs. And let's not forget the relaxing scalp massage that it provides. After a long day, using this feels like a mini spa treatment. It's a great way to unwind while taking care of your scalp. Plus, the handy hanging notch makes storage effortless. Just hang it up and it's ready for your next shower. Simply put, the scalp buffer is your scalp's secret weapon. Its antibacterial silicone bristles help keep your scalp healthy, maximizes shampoo performance, gives you a soothing massage, kicks bacteria to the curb, and stores away like a champ. Your hair routine just got a serious upgrade. Take your scalp from zero to hero with the scalp buffer. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BID at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code BID at manscaped.com. Okay, we move on down the line here. We got yelled at for not talking about Dylan Cruz. Was that something like, I feel like that, you know, there's not, we can't, yeah, we did.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't see that yelling. I mean, I figured, let's talk about what he does instead of that he got called up, right?
Right. Yeah, I feel like anytime that we
just a veteran in the industry, what the hell do I know?
Yeah. We always get yelled at for leaving something out. The Nationals, their top prospect, Dylan Cruz, you may recall in the Paul Skeens draft, he wasn't an afterthought, but he was a guy, but he wasn't the guy. Paul Skeens was the guy, but Dylan Cruz was right there. They were teammates at LSU, made his debut, little double, swiped a bag. How do we feel about Dylan Cruz?
I mean, it's early.
It sure is, Dallas.
Fair to say it's early.
Yeah.
Give us your take. I mean, I have something, and then not to cut Dallas off, but like, to me, it's interesting less because that I must see Dylan Cruz every time that he plays, and more because you can really increasingly see the vision for the next really, really interesting Washington Nationals team. And I'm not going to sit here and name every single Washington Nationals player, but like to me, there's a trio between Abrams, James Wood, and Dylan Cruz offensively that has to get that fan base excited. A, because they're all very highly ranked prospects. B, because they're different. I think that's kind of cool too. You have a dynamic, kind of multifaceted outfielder in Cruz. You have a middle of the infield, power speed guy in CJ Abrams at shortstop, and you have a guy who could potentially give you 40 home runs at some point during his MLB career. The imposing force that is James Wood. So I just, that's why it's interesting to me. It's been a long time coming, but with those three and obviously other players that I'm not going to get into, it's an increasingly fun time to tune into Nationals games.
Yes, that's exactly where my head's at. Is you have a third of your lineup right now that represents the brightest future that I think you've had in a while, outside of the potential Harper Soto combination and what that was ever going to look like if they were going to be together. This is what you have now moving forward. This is exciting. And not to just, really reiterate everything that Jayhay just said. You have somebody at the top of the lineup that you feel could be a stalwart there for a long time. You have a run producer or a conceivable run producer behind him in the Big Bopper Woody. And then whatever Dylan Cruz is able to put together offensively on top of the athleticism and playing defense, like, this is something to be a little excited about. Early, sure, like I said, but something that you can start to see unfold.
I like that. It's good to have hope. And the Nats fans that listen to BID always appreciate when they get love. That's like I'm not going to say that's the one fan base, but I would say it's a fan base that I always hear from if we talk about their team is Nationals.
What are the more realistic fan bases?
Well, they have to be.
Well, but that's the point. Is not everybody's like that. Not like there's a lot of fans who are like, I don't care. We should have been in October. You probably shouldn't have, though. I don't think you're even close to that. Well, hear me out on why 24 out is not as bad as it looks. Well, I don't have that time. But the Nats fans are always to a point like, look, we're not good. We're not good. The guys we got are not good. The guys we brought in are not good. We don't have anybody good. Now we got good guys. So we got good guys. Okay, well, we're not great, but we're on our way.
Yeah, they see it. They see the vision.
Yeah, they were more than happy when Harper left town, Soto, World Series. They made their peace.
Dallas, your boy Jared Jones made his return.
He did.
Yeah, I feel like, it's if you're a Pirates fan, is that something where you want to see it just to see it, or because obviously they're way out of it, but getting Jared Jones back, it's like, all right, like I would rather for the month of September, let me at least see a glimpse of what it could look like somewhere down the line. That's kind of what you're watching Pirates baseball for at this point, no?
That's what it is right now. Yes. Is what does the future look like? Not to the extent that we're talking about with the Nats, but yeah, like, and I think for him specifically, for Joe, it's just show us that you're healthy, show you that you're healthy working through this last part of the season. That way there's no questions about, winter ball. Do I need to go and and polish this up? Do I need, you can finish your season healthy and look forward to next year. That's the thing. That's also why I think what's happening with Oneil Cruz is happening right now, outside of probably a need to finally make a decision to move Oneil Cruz off of shortstop and take him out to center field, where we have seen plenty of athletes revive their career, keep themselves freshly in the conversation of talent in the game. You read the article. He's going to reach out to Fernando Tatis Jr. Hey, Tati, how do we go about this? You made the move from the infield to the outfield. I made this statement earlier this season when the Pirates were in town. And I talked about, this is when we were having the conversation about like the tool sets, the skill sets of Elly De La Cruz, Oneil Cruz. And I was saying Oneil Cruz has the tools. He has the skills. He just clearly has not been able to put them together the way Elly has. I called him it last night, Elly De La Statcast. Everything the dude does just fucking lights you up. Oneil has not been able to do that. He has stumbled through that. I've watched him take ground balls to the point where he just, even in his pregame work, was defaulting to athleticism. And that's where, if you're going to test yourself, if you're going to get better, you can't do those sorts of things. You can't field a ball to the backhand side, bobble it, and then just stand flat-footed and throw it across the diamond at 102 because you can. I mean, you can do that, but I'd like for you to have a feel on how to create a little bit better angle for yourself so that you don't have to just rely on your raw skill set, your raw tools. So hopefully taking him out to the outfield, getting him an opportunity to range a little bit, maybe some of the athleticism really starts to surface and you see him turn into a fucking deer out there. That would be great. But yeah, this time of the season right now, it's like the Pirates are just trying to get a feel for what 2025 could look like.
Yeah. Do you think this is the right move?
I do think it's the right move. And I think it's because up until this point, you haven't seen the growth and you haven't seen the steps taken necessary to put him in the everyday shortstop category defensively that you need, that you're looking for. If you have the pitching staff and you have the future looking the way it does on the mound, you need defenders behind these guys. And if he's kicking balls the way he is at this rate, then I think you have to take a step back. And it's not trying to retool him at this position. It needs to be an assessment of whether or not this is viable moving forward. I think they've had that conversation. Derek Shelton talked about just his vibe. How did he feel? Well, day one, you're pissed off. You just moved me from a fucking premium defensive position. We understand what kind of payday comes with production at that spot. So there's a lot going on when you're asking a guy to move off of a position like that. Took about a day, Shelby said. He was much better the next day. And I think it's because you're met with a challenge. And he even said, I'm still in the middle of the field. I'm still in the middle of the diamond, which speaks to his understanding of how important of a player he is. So it's not like he's been cast off to the corners and just said, do your thing.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. If you're gonna look to Tatis as your inspiration or your mentor and your guidance, like, he got moved to a corner. Yeah.
Gold Glover.
Platinum Glover.
Platinum Glover, that's right.
Put some respect on it.
Him and Matty-O. Platinum,
him and Matt Olson.
Matty-O.
Yep.
So yeah, I do. I think it's the right move, and I think it's the right move for multiple reasons. One, because it helps him. Two, back to the team conversation. You got guys on the mound that deserve to have quality defenders behind them.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Pirates fan, you have things to look forward to. Like that's valuable, especially this time of the year.
Not to turn it back to the Nationals, but quickly, the Oneil Cruz conversation did make me think, like, depending on how much you trust the defensive metrics, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert here because I'm not grading out CJ Abrams' defense on a night by night or play by play basis, but the numbers are not kind. And I know that there has been some subjective opinions shared that are not necessarily super kind either. I do wonder whether the Nationals will get to a point where he's moved off of shortstop for the betterment of the long term. Maybe not as he's clearly more established to me as a player or centerpiece than O'Neal Cruz is at this point. So he's already a little bit further down the line, but maybe that's something the Nationals have to visit as well. But we'll see.
I'm going to give this to you raw, Dallas.
Oh.
I'm going to give this to you with no warning.
Wow.
Of what's coming. This was a clip.
I like this.
Yeah, this was a clip from Foul Territory yesterday. And it was a conversation between Jonathan Papelbon and AJ Pierzynski regarding Randy Arozarena walking into the Tampa Bay Rays clubhouse as a member of the Seattle Mariners. I mean, I already see your reaction. So here's the conversation.
You don't go into the other team's clubhouse. I'm sorry, but if I'm on that team, I'm going, get the bleep out of here. We'll see you on the field. You don't need to be in the other team's clubhouse. If you play on the other team, you'll see him on the field. I know times have changed. I don't care about fraternization. I don't care about pimping homers. I don't care about any of that. You don't walk into my clubhouse. You just don't. I promise you, if I was on a team or there was a teams I played on and I got traded and I got DFA'd and I got switched teams, if I would have gone into the other team's clubhouse, even if you leave on good terms in the clubhouse, somebody would have been like, get the out of here now.
Have you seen a player while you were playing head into an opposing clubhouse? Never, not once.
Never. No, not one time in 13 seasons did I ever see this. You know, to me, this was on Kevin Cash. You got to know, like, man, come on, man. These other guys are in here trying to prepare for a game. Look, there's many ways to sneak around in a clubhouse and in the stadium if you want to see a guy besides, you know, strolling him through the actual clubhouse, coach's office, or, you know, even in the cage. I have nothing wrong even meeting in the cage, you know, in the tunnel. But the clubhouse, to me, has always been sacred.
You don't.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. What are you doing here, bro? This is done. This is not where you live. You live over there. Love you. We'll have dinner. Not here. Get the fuck out. There's a clear line, clear separation. And Pap is right. You know how many times I personally have sat in the cage or have sat in the tunnel or have sat in the clubby's office with other players who were coming in, coming back, saying hi. They don't go in the clubhouse. They fucking know. They don't go in the clubhouse. They'll sit in the clubby's office and fucking rip heaters and talk shit, go into the cage, rip heaters, talk shit all day. In the clubhouse, outside of your goddamn mind. You are outside of your goddamn mind. Do you understand what we're trying to do here? We are trying to create something that 26 of us buy into. Not 26 and a half, you and your fucking friend. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No.
So you're out on that?
Down on it.
Okay.
I'm
just asking.
Down
because,
on
I mean, obviously,
no.
I'd never been in a big league clubhouse before. It seems like the comments don't agree.
No, nobody gives a shit.
I know. I'm just saying. It seems like
nobody fucking cares.
Yeah,
come on, bro. Why can't? No. Stop it. Mm-mm.
Jayhay, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the you didn't play, so you're not entitled to an opinion on topics with sports. I think this is one of those, though, where I don't really have much to add. I think each work environment is different. Listen, I think I've left jobs before and gone back into the general area or like on-site realm of the previous company while working for somebody else because I was invited. And I got to tell you, felt super weird. And it wasn't a competitive sporting environment where we're going head to head against each other. It's just, you know, I mean, I guess in some ways we're going head to head, but you know what I mean? Yeah, I would be out on doing it. And I would be I understand the reaction of Pap and Dallas 100%. That's what I would have expected them to say. And that's what I think seems like the right thing.
And put it like this. If you guys are pitchers and Randy walks in, and let's say Randy's taking both your asses deep, and I'm the left fielder who, after he rocked both your shit, I just went like this. And now Randy's in the clubhouse, and guess what Randy and I are talking about? how's things going over there, man? Great. Yeah, good. You know what I'm saying? Offense is good. We got some bangers behind us, little protection, right? Like, hey, you remember when yeah, bro, you remember when I fucking. And now you guys are over in the corner like, what the fuck? Is that my left fielder right now chopping it up with the dude who just took me fucking deep a month ago? And like I don't even talk to that guy. Like him and I really don't even have this back and forth, but the other guy comes into our clubhouse and he's fucking chopping it up with him more than he's ever come and connected with me. What the fuck? Are you serious? But you have my back, right? You have my back. You're pulling for me. Fuck you. No, you're not. And that's the kind of shit that can start to bubble up when you let a motherfucker stray into the clubhouse.
I think your opinion carries the most weight here because one of the comments in that video is like, thanks for sharing. Two guys who no one like, not the best teammates, but I feel like with Papelbon, like he had the one incident with Harper. That's it. But like his teammates in Boston loved him.
And that right there, look. You might have issues with guys individually. That mindset, that is the ultimate teammate mindset. Those two dudes from AJ and from Pap.
Well, everyone did hate AJ. That's actually true.
And nobody's debating that. Nobody's debating that. But that doesn't mean that AJ is not coming from the right place in that moment, in that perspective. Like just because you might not like the dude doesn't mean that he's not completely accurate in wanting to keep a clubhouse together and wanting to keep the ranks closed and the circle tight. Like we have, like every team, when they have that dude, because every team has that guy, the idea should be, that's our village idiot. You don't get to make fun of him. We make fun of him. We tease him. We wear him out. The minute you point your arrow at him, you got 26 of our arrows pointed right at you, motherfucker. That's our guy. You don't get to do that. That's how teams work. So whether you like the dude or not, the fact that he is willing to take the bullet for you, that's what needs to get you in a mind space that you're ready to take the bullet for him. Because it doesn't matter what you agree on, what you disagree on. You're here for one fucking thing, to win a ring.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, the more we talk about it, the more it makes me think that maybe Randy just went over to the opposing clubhouse to tell his old friend that to make sure you sign up with the code Jared.
Yeah.
To get $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jared.
That's probably is what he said too. Yeah. And I wouldn't blame him for
trying to be a good friend. And there's all this blowback now.
Right.
Just trying to make sure they sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared.
Exactly. $1,000. Trying to tell me that someone on the Rays doesn't need $1,000? Come on. That's big money in Tampa. And say what you want about AJ. I know that like he's not the most popular figure in baseball history, but I feel like I tend to agree as someone that didn't play professionally. I tend to agree with the stance because of the points that Papelbon illustrated, where he's like, yeah, dude, like if you want to see your teammates, there's plenty of other places where you can see them, just not in the clubhouse.
Like, it happens everywhere.
Like
you meet down on the field. Like I
don't go in the clubhouse as a media member. I'm not a former teammate, but that's just like, I recognize that that's their space. I don't feel comfortable going in the clubhouse. That's their space. I don't even go in our clubhouse. So in Oakland, where I go, and they start talking to me and bring me in there. When I walk into the clubhouse, I walk into the door and I take a right down the cage into the tunnel to walk back into the clubby's office where I go and hang out, where I eat lunch. Players come in and they'll talk and blah, 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 like they just filter through there. But I don't go out and sit in the clubhouse. I am more than welcome to. They would love to have me there. I don't go there. That's their spot. That I am not on the team. I'm not a fucking player. That's their house, man. That's where everything. That's why the sign says what it says, right? What you see here, what happens here, stays here. Yep. I agree.
That's not my world. That's theirs.
Yep. I don't go in there. And if you want to talk to one of the players, former teammates, there's plenty of places that you can go to do that. I'm glad we agree, as two guys with some dirt under their spikes, Dallas. I'm glad we agree. Yeah, the same
Absolutely.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
man. I hear you guys. Fuck yeah.
There's plenty of places that you can go to see these players and not have to be in the clubhouse. You can go in the seats. If you're going to sit in the stands, you got to use the Game Time app. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets easier for your favorite live events and games. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste your time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Trying to think. Oh, yeah. Section 10 night's coming up at Fenway on September 9th. Also, we're going to be at the Woo Sox on Saturday, August 31st. Just got our tickets today, actually. So shout out to Game Time. Game Time Picks made it super easy because I got a bunch of people that were like, hey, Jared, like, we need tickets. Like, we want to come to Section 10 night. How do we get tickets? I'm like, the Game Time app. Like, I don't know why you're asking me. Like, download the Game Time app. You're going to get awesome seats. It's at a great price that way. Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and other events. All-in pricing toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code BID for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the promo code BID for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? It's
Game time.
Yeah, it's game time. It is game time. Okay. Anything else on your mind today, fellas? Jayhay?
I always got a ton of stuff on my mind, dude.
Yeah, what's on your mind, brother?
Did you just to pull up the rundown really fast? I did think it was kind of eye-opening. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but just the best records in the AL and NL in the second half. Because sometimes I feel like the 162 game season is so long that you lose sight of trajectories sometimes or paces.
Or growth. Maybe overlook growth, Jay. Maybe that's something that you overlook at times.
Do you want to take this over since you may have some vested interest in this?
No, you start. You were on I could feel the path you were on, and brother, you about to nail it. You continue to do you.
To your point in the NL, the three. A's with the second best record in the AL since the All-Star break at 20-14, behind only the Royals, slightly ahead of the Yankees, Tigers, and Astros. So, is
that first place Royals? First place Royals?
Yep, tied for first place now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and
so the A's,
first place Yanks and first place Astros.
So the only team better than the A's in the second half is a first place team?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a way to say that?
Yeah.
It is one way to say it.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. NL, three best teams are all in the NL West. So to your point about that being the best race, they are certainly playing the best baseball. D-backs and Padres at 26-9, easily the two best in Major League Baseball overall since the break. Cubs 20-15, Brewers 20-14. Frustrating for the Cubs. They played maybe their best stretch of baseball in months and have made up exactly negative half game on the Brewers. Yeah. Not that they were going to close that gap regardless, but tough season. Nope. I guess the only other thing I would say is just to make one other than Nuggets to touch on that Nationals-Yankees thing last night. My wife and I were sitting on the couch and just marveling at Patrick Corbin, as I do, every couple of weeks or few months. We're just never going to see, we talk about appreciating what we have when we have it. We've done that with the first conversation here with Ohtani, Judge, and Acuña. I made sure to take some time to do it with the White Sox yesterday or 2 days ago on reaching 100 losses. You have to appreciate greatness in whatever form. We're never going to see something like Patrick Corbin again. I'm 100% convinced of that because
what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
We are never going to see the combination. I know, and that's what makes it even more special. No, my main takeaway last night from Major League Baseball as a whole, before I get into this Patrick Corbin thing, was that baseball is the best fucking sport in the world. In part, lots of reasons, but in part because the New York Yankees can have Aaron Judge do what he's doing, Juan Soto do what he's doing. They can have Garrett Cole on the mound, and they're still able to lose to the White Sox and lose to 12-2 to the White Sox and lose to Patrick Corbin within the span of like 2 weeks. But listen, Patrick Corbin, you are never going to get this combination of general suck and availability and quantity ever again, because we talk about the death of the starting pitcher, or these guys who's going to throw 175 innings, who's going to throw 200 innings, whatever. Say what you want about Patrick Corbin. That dude has been so durable during this stretch where he has been so terrible. And no one's going to be this combination of things again. Teams are probably not going to sign that many pitchers to contracts that create these sorts of situations ever again. He was on a 7-year deal where the final 4.5 seasons were just like throw it in the garbage kind of. Like, I credit him to continue taking the ball, but this is like 4 straight seasons of 5.5 ERA baseball at the very best. And I just don't think we're ever going to see this again. And we haven't seen it to that point. We've really never seen it in Major League Baseball either. So forget coming again. We never saw it before either.
Well, he is I mean, not that it's just shitty that he's going to lead the league or could potentially lead the league in losses 4 straight years. That sucks.
Dude, sometimes teams manipulate things to let their guys dodge the loss lead for 1 season. And he's yeah.
4.
But to his credit, he's taken the ball. There's no phantom injuries. He's just like, I mean, this is presumably it, right? Like,
yes, and I know the crazy thing about this is the combination of the fact that it's not been as good as it's not been. It's been as bad as it has been, but he has been continually allowed to take the baseball. Is there any thought that with the expansion of the playoff rosters or expansion of the playoff pool, that teams could find themselves in a spot where they're like, look, we know that we're not, and we just need arms. We just need guys to take the baseball. So is there any thought that, as crazy as this has been, that we could see this not more and more like on a regular basis, but however long it's been since we saw the last, however you phrased it, combination of availability and general suck. If there is there a window where we haven't seen anything like that? How long has it been since the last time we saw anything close to this? That's kind of where my mind was going. Go ahead.
No, I think a huge part of this is the money that they owed him. And where the Nationals were in their life cycle. Like, they were coming off the World Series. They still had most of his contract to go. The rest of the team was going in a different direction. And it was like, well, we can't trade this guy. We're not going to cut him with $90 million left on his contract. And frankly, to your point, like having a guy around who will soak up 160 innings or whatever a year probably has some level, and who won a World Series with our franchise and who was a significant contributor in his prime, and in our most important seasons, there's probably some level of value to having that person as opposed to not having them, when his replacement may post an ERA that is 0.25 better, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
remember what they did with, let's not forget what they did with Strasburg and the injury. And they're like, buddy, you're coming.
Yeah, that was a little weird, but
spring training, like, you're coming, you're going to do this. It is going to happen. Like, it's almost like the Nats were like Civil War surgeons. Like, we need somebody to run to the front line. Well, sir, his legs are cut off. Great. Can he put the gun in his mouth and run on his hands? Because we need somebody to, like, fuck. Okay. All right. Corb, go get him. You're going. You're going, pal. You're going.
I do feel like that Strasburg thing had, like, there was more animosity built into that from maybe both sides than perhaps just we need you on the front lines because we need arms. But anyway, just a little homage to Patrick Corbin there for doing what basically no man has ever done.
He's a really nice guy.
Great dude.
Much better at pitching in Major League Baseball, just to be clear.
He's a great guy. I like Patrick Corbin.
Okay.
Next year is his year.
His year to not be playing?
Oh, you think he's out of the league?
I mean, he's a flyer guy for sure.
Someone's gonna add him.
Yeah. If he wants to pitch next year, he'll pitch.
Yeah, they get the innings. He just turned 35. Happy birthday, Patrick Corbin. Some team's going to sign him. Some team's like, I can fix him. And it's probably going to be the Red Sox. And then they won't. Jake, write that down. Red Sox are signing Patrick Corbin. That's going to be the big offseason move.
Things been a little rocky out there.
Oh, we won yesterday.
I
mean, we're not.
I mean, we're talking
having a good second half, but any team can have a bad half, you know?
For sure.
Even the shitty teams can have a good half, right, Dallas?
Jayhay and I were talking about some of the bad teams that were able to turn it around. I also highlighted the A's and the success that they've had this second half of. Yeah, so I mean, there's layers to it for sure.
Yeah.
Just a bad time to have a bad stretch right now. Is that kind of the vibe?
I mean, we're not out of it. The Twins, talking about bad time to have a bad stretch. The Minnesota Twins, they've lost, 7 out of 10? 3 straight?
Right.
We've just changed our focus. First, it was catch the Royals. Now it's catch the Minnesota Twins. So we're not out of it. We're only 4 back. As long as you have as many weeks left as you are games behind, you're good.
You know what? I think it needs to be said. If the Red Sox can find a way, and this is just from an outsider's perspective, Jared.
Mm-hmm. You are an outsider.
If the Red Sox can find a way to adopt the mentality of Tristan Casas and
just not
the way that he is, it feels like he's trying everything that he can to connect and unearth a W in any way he can.
Yeah.
And I feel like if the team collectively would maybe to adopt that approach.
They did yesterday and they won. Alex Cora said no one show up to the yard until 4 yesterday. You guys hang out with your families, go get lunch, play with your kids, and then show up to the yard. And everyone came in. They were loose. Even Kenley after the game last night was like, yeah, we've definitely been pressing. There's definitely been an extra effort to win games, and we've lost all of them.
So then why aren't they going to release the videos of Casas and AC shirtless stretching? Like, that's something that the public needs to see. That's something that I think the team would need to see.
AC's dying for a reason to post shirtless content. He's down like fucking 30 pounds since last year. He was a little flabby last year, and then now he's on this kick where he's going on runs. He's got the Fabio bod now. He's probably in the best shape of his life this year. So you don't need to ask him or give him any reason to post shirtless content. He's dying for it right now.
No, that's good. He went from being shape to in shape. It's good to see. We love AC. I'm just saying, why can't do we have any Jayhay? I feel like you'd be a good sounding board for this.
What?
Well, just Tristan Casas and what kind of impact you think his mentality could have on the Red Sox right now.
Yeah, his vibe.
Pulling them out of the little funk they're in. His vibe, Did you see his
I'm not much of a vibe analyst. It's not what I do best. I will say as a numbers guy though, I like what he's been doing with the bat since returning.
That's like almost 1,000 OPS. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's his return was August 16th. So we're talking about a guy with a 357, 426, 548 slash line. That's 973, doing a little bit of everything. Yeah. I mean, listen, you get a guy with a bat like that in the lineup and you want him in there. As I said before the season, maybe the best bat in the Red Sox lineup, and that includes Rafael Devers. Important guy.
Can't be understated.
No.
Thank you for your Tristan Casas love today, Justin Havens. We appreciate it.
No problem.
You got any nugs for us, Jayhay?
I do have nugs. I always have nugs. But before we get to that, make sure you sign up with the code Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JARED. That's promo code Jared.
That's right.
Sure is. A few nugs here. We were talking about Patrick Corbin. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to put that in perspective for all of our listeners. There has only been, he would be the second pitcher in Major League Baseball history to have 4 seasons where he had an ERA of 5.20 or higher and at least 27 games started, which he's hit in each of the last 4 seasons. The only other player to do so. Anybody? Jaime Navarro.
Wow.
That's fuck. I was going to say that.
Tip of my tongue.
Yep.
Gave
Who
it up
did
too
so? Who did so in 1997, 1998, 1999, and he threw one in there all the way back in 1993 as well. So Patrick Corbin would be the only person to do it in 4 straight seasons, which I think, kind of puts him on his own pedestal. Double Pirates Nuggets here. One good, one bad. We'll go with the good first. O'Neal Cruz, first Pirates player with multiple 4 hit, 1 stolen base games in a single season since Kevin Newman in 2019. And then Jared Jones, I was going to touch on this, but we moved on. I know it's like just proof of concept on getting back on the mound, but I would love to see him get back to being the pitcher or close to it that he was through his first 7 starts. Through his first 7 starts this season, 2.63 ERA, and more importantly, a 52-5 strikeout to walk over 41 innings pitched. For comparison's sake, over his last 10 starts, his strikeout to walk rate is 50-25, and his ERA is 4.83 over 54 innings pitched. So his strikeout rate has dropped precipitously. His walk rate has completely ballooned, and obviously his ERA is up 2.2 runs. So not trying to say he's not promising, not trying to say the Pirates aren't promising in that rotation, but it would be cool if Jared Jones got himself straightened out. And then lastly, we have Seiya Suzuki. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what he's got going on, but over his last 7 games, he's 14 for 30 with 3 homers. That's a 4.67 batting average and a 1.429 OPS. More specifically, his OPS has increased from 796 to 842 over just that 7-game stretch. Here's some context. Through August 20th, Suzuki ranked 19th in the NL in OPS. August 20th, 8 days ago. He enters play today 7th. 19th to 7th in 1 week in OPS with a 46-point gain. And those are my nugs.
Damn. Shout out to Seiya Suzuki, man. People were done with his ass. Now look at him.
He's come roaring back.
Sure has.
My actual final thought, though, is that we've got Paul Skeens here in like an hour.
Yeah, we're gonna be locked in for that. Dallas, final thoughts?
My final thoughts was I just got an update on the group chat, and our bus time has been locked in for 4:00. Love that. Love that. That means don't show the fuck up.
Nice little reward for being the best team in the American League in the second half, Dallas. Good for you guys.
Here we go.
Jake's takes?
Baseballisdeadmerch.com. I just got a couple pieces in yesterday. They're sick. Definitely go out there, grab your merch. It's the first time we've had it in what feels like forever. So got to pounce on it.
Yep.
Waiting on the hoodie. waiting on the hoodie. Jake, do we have any update on I've had this crazy idea for a really long time as a baseball podcaster to have a baseball hat. Like it's just been this really weird connection I've been trying to make between the baseball world. So like, do we have any update? Is there any thought to a baseball hat?
We can get those. Yeah. That's basically like where this is headed. From what I was told, that's where this is all headed is let's start with some t-shirts, and then around the holiday season, there'll be BID sweatpants, there'll be BID coffee mugs, hats, long sleeve, zippies, you name it. We're selling out this Christmas.
Thinking about a tattoo.
Yeah, me too. What the fuck, dude?
What?
You said we were going to do that, and then we never did. You know what? During the postseason,
you're the one who's got shit to do. You're the one. I gotta go get my beef tips. I gotta go get my haircut. I gotta go get my what the fuck?
My beef tips?
What the fuck?
No, what the fuck you? Next time you're here, because we're talking.
Oh, just the next time. Do you realize that like I've been there multiple next times?
You've been here once this season. We were in Dallas, and you were like, I don't know, Jared. It's really hot outside, and I don't know. I don't know if I can go do it right. I'm really afraid of needles, and I don't have any support with me. And Meg's not here, and she usually holds my hand when I get a tattoo, and she's not here right now, so I don't know if I can do that. And I was like, Dallas, we're literally getting like baseball seams. Like it's one of those tattoos where it's like zzz, 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 and you're done. It's like, it's not a full piece. You can do it without Meg holding your hand on this one. And you were just like, well, I don't know. It's kind of tradition. She'll be upset if I get a tattoo and she's not there. And, she's kind of my emotional support wife. And you wouldn't understand. I was like, okay. So bring her in October when we do the streams. Apparently that's a big thing that we're going to be doing. Loosely planned, but like most likely going to happen for the wild card round. Well, then if you were
worth your salt, this is what happens. Your artist should be sitting in the house. Oh,
he would come to the house. Yeah, he would do that.
So then that's what's happening.
Yeah, he would come to the house, I think.
Okay, done.
The only problem is the wild card round, I believe, starts on, I think it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like that. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Well, what's he got shit to do?
He runs his own shop. Yes, he's not like an employee at the shop. He's the fucking head honcho.
Yeah, so he can put somebody in the shop and bring his ass over to the house. Done deal.
I believe it's just him and his nephew. It's him and his nephew.
Not ready for the moment?
I don't know. I don't know if his nephew's ready for the moment.
Think of all the business he could bring in being on that stream.
Well, I mean, he's tattooed me for content before. Wouldn't be his first rodeo.
Well, then sounds like it's all laid out.
But then again, like if we're doing the fucking baseball seams, is he really going to shut down his shop to pack up all his shit to come in here to do a tattoo that's going to take 10 minutes?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But again, if marketing was something he was into, he'd probably give that a second thought.
Yeah, maybe. Where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put the tattoo?
I don't know. I mean, I could go around my wrist. I could go around. I would say around my left. I mean, I got room around my left wrist, right here.
Yeah, I got some room there too.
Yeah. I'm actually. I'm debating. I'm getting I believe I'm going to be getting a fairly sizable, tattered, war-torn pachyderm on my knee, like on my knee. Down my shin.
Mm.
Do you know what a pachyderm is, Jared?
What is a war torn?
War torn, just tattered. Like it looks like slightly disheveled. Like let's say he's been through 3 tours, Jayhay,
Jeez.
and it's just stumbling. Yeah, like that. Like he's just battled, an embattled depiction.
Do you have one of those?
A pachyderm?
Yeah.
I do not. I just don't have the space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like your spirit animal?
A pachyderm is an elephant.
I thought it was, well, like a type of?
No, just that's just the name. Yeah, like pachyderm. Elephant. What do you got?
Nothing. I'm not doing this again. I've already declared myself the winner.
What do you got, Jay?
Nope.
What do you got? Let's talk.
Well, I mean, it's annoying. It's nitpicking. So it's just going to make me seem pedantic. I'm not really interested in. But the reason I was asking follow-up questions is because Oxford is telling me that it is a very large mammal with thick skin, especially an elephant, rhino, or a hippopotamus. So it refers to the entire grouping of those types of animals and not just an elephant per the English dictionary. I'm not sure what a Spanish dictionary would say in this case, but that's why I was confused.
Jay's gonna be wearing that L for a long time. He never.
No. All right.
Yes,
well, you want to do this?
He never takes an L. But
so correct.
Oh,
so I'm correct. I'm correct.
You're
and
not.
the feedback is such as this: tilde is how you pronounce it in English.
No,
tilde. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's the answer. People were calling us idiots on Reddit or whatever because or Discord because they were like,
what's that promo code, Jay?
I can't believe they didn't get to the conclusion.
What's the promo
to
code?
the conclusion that it is the promo code is Jared. It's JARED. You get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared.
That's right.
Tilde is the English pronunciation, and tilde is the Spanish language pronunciation.
But
so
here's
my
where
counter
I'm
to you
confused,
guys.
Jayhay.
Okay.
We don't use a tilde in the English language, so why would there need to be an English pronunciation of a Spanish specific word? There doesn't need to be.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not a linguist, so I can't tell you like where this all started. But I am going to tell you that the English dictionary was delivering me one answer. I've since been told by multiple other sources that is the English pronunciation and that Spanish is what you guys are saying. So I am going to proclaim victory clearly because until this podcast is done primarily en Espanol, tilde is how we would pronounce it speaking English. Thank you very much. I'm at the very least not wrong. If you guys want to be one of those people who's like, well, I pronounce everything, with the whatever, then that's fine. But
tilde
with the local flair, even though I know where you guys were born.
That's the
There's
other thing
no Dominican
too.
blood pumping through Jared.
There is. I'm basically an honorary Dominican. Like if you know those like memes of like the lunchroom.
You can pronounce it that way.
You've got like the lunch tables, and it's like and like they've got like players or personalities sitting out. Which table would you rather sit at? I feel most comfortable sitting at the Dominican table. Like those are my people. Like we have way more in common.
That's fine. And when you were having a conversation with them in Spanish, you guys could throw tildes all over the place. Yeah. But if you were then to get up and come back over to my table, where I'm certainly no bigot,
the crusty ass white boy table,
but we happen to be speaking English while being open to speaking other languages, if that's what people wanted to speak. Then we would be saying tilde is what you would find.
Yeah, well, we'd be laughing at you at the Dominican table, throwing bananas at your crusty white
What's
ass.
the plantains, not bananas? What's the
plantains?
What's the meal where you put cheese in between the tortillas? What do you call that? Like it's just super basic.
Like a quesadilla?
Did you just use an accent, Jayhay?
Well,
so it's quesadilla when it's convenient.
What would the English language pronunciation of quesadilla
I don't know,
be?
because it's a Spanish word and it's not something that we use in English.
Well, hold on. Is there even an accent on the word quesadilla?
No, what I'm asking, what I'm asking
But
is
the
how you're
LL
using that word.
The
LL,
LL in the
double L.
English language would be a la and not yeah.
But you're choosing to use the ya in
Yeah,
that
you
moment
are.
because it's convenient.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking where you draw the line
Well, no,
of
it's
convenience
because-
and correctness.
It's because, listen, I draw the line at what the fucking dictionaries say. At
The
what
English dictionary.
Correct. We are
If
speaking
I will stand
English.
pat
Why-
by the English
why-
definition for the
why would
Spanish
the
word, and
English
that's
language
that.
dictionary be providing wrong info for English language speakers? It doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. And I'm so glad that people within Underdog stepped up and supported me. So I'm not going to call them out by name because I don't.
Sam from Connecticut,
Yeah.
Joe from Iowa, they got your back. Never mind Eduardo from Puerto Rico. Never mind that guy.
You know what? Eduardo answered correctly for himself. That's why this conversation was the way that it was, because you asked a native Spanish speaker how to pronounce it. And he said, oh, they're asking me how to pronounce it en español. That's what he was thinking.
So Dallas, the only way that this ends is that we put out a Baseball is Dead t-shirt when the back says Havens with the tilde over the N.
Well, that's a great idea. I don't think that ends it. That just can, that is a branch off. I won't admit that I'm wrong. I'm not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
I didn't care at all about this topic, and now it is my most passionate belief.
Well, you get smacked in the face with an L like that from God and everybody, and I
No way,
get
man.
why you would.
No, I was ready when we got off the podcast on Monday. I was ready to be like, oh man, I must have, I was wrong there. I guess I really messed that up. And then, like the people just came like from all corners, and they were like, you are 100% right. There's no doubt. We believe in you, and you are right. And I was like, wow, okay then. And then you had people, in fairness, on Discord and Reddit saying that they said, sorry, Jayhay, hate to disagree with you because you're my favorite person on the podcast, but you are wrong. And I was like, okay, I'm getting mixed messages here. Turns out, as one person says, it's because we're talking about two different languages. So for this podcast, I'm correct. For the Spanish language dub over, I guess, that we put out, it will be tilde. Thank you.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow with Family Feud. There's no way it can be more intense than this tilde battle that's been.
I'm going to fucking throw that question on there. There's only going to be two options. How do you pronounce that
I
word?
can't wait for the questions tomorrow. So in 1973, and when you take into account all
they're
of
definitely going to be harder. People are demanding that they are harder. I mean, you guys have scored 50 points above the threshold 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
it's time to crush you.
Yeah,
sorry for partying.
Yeah,
no, you don't have to be sorry. Just know the truth is coming at you like a freight train, brother.
I mean, this is very similar. Like you see, MGK just threatened Randy Orton. That's what this feels like.
he's calling out people left and right. He's threatening Sean Strickland.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't do that if I were MGK, who I do like.
No,
so I'm the MGK and you're the Randy Ortons.
Well, the Discord is the MGK. They're that's cute that you're threatening us, but I don't know that you have much ground to stand on here. So,
yeah.
All right.
Well, just hard to be humble. Just call me Triple H with the storylines. You know what I mean?
All right. We'll be back on Thursday with more Baseball is Dead and Tilde debate. Thank you.
Enjoy your quesadilla, Jayhay. We go.
Tilde.